strength. This year isn't easy. God forbid you get in my way. The other side of darkness sounds like freedom calling. So I'm gonna take it easy on me. I'll find an open highway, and I'll drive, drive, drive till I'm free from heart to mind. Found my way around you, took a tall order of restraint. Now learned about forgiveness, that I've been slow giving it away. The other side of crying, ooh, is a silent rising. So I'm gonna take it easy on me. I'll find an open highway, and I'll drive, drive, drive till I'm free from heart to mind. I'll take it easy on me. I'll find a quiet place, and I'll ride, ride, ride till I'm free from heart to mind. From heart to mind. Oh, from heart to mind. Watch me while I take my time back. Kindness is a choice, don't forget that. Watch me while I take my time back. Ooh. Kindness is a choice, don't forget that. Don't forget that. I'll take it easy on me. I'll find an open highway, and I'll drive, drive, drive till I'm free from heart to mind. I'll take it easy on me. I'll find a quiet place, and I'll ride, ride, ride till I'm free from heart to mind, mind.
Woo! How awesome, how awesome. Alex G, welcome to Democrats Live. That's a high five.
So much.
Hey, you know what? Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. What do you call that tune?
That song is called Heart to Mind, and it is not out yet, but it will be in the next couple of
So
months.
you debuted on Democrats Live.
So, yeah, you guys are pretty special.
Hey, man, we're feeling good about it. We are feeling good about it.
Yeah.
Let me tell everybody, just so you know, Alex G is one of the most successful, well-watched artists on YouTube. She's the top 10 LGBTQ artist on YouTube. She is coming out with new stuff on Spotify. Check out this tune, Too Far. You're really gonna dig it. And also, you should know that she has been really making new space for people, and she's connecting our politics with our art. And so I just want to ask you, you are really, you're making some important statements about including all Americans, particularly from the LGBTQ community, in our political space. You're making space on the dial for everybody. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, once I realized politics affect everyone, Not just myself, but my friends. And I didn't used to think that. I wanted nothing to do with it because I grew up in a very, like, I guess, aggressive household when it came to politics. And it was always such a polarizing topic. And then I wanted nothing to do with it. And when I realized that, I mean, politics is for the people.
That's right.
Like, I realized that in a very real way when I read an article about where Syrian children sleep.
Sure.
Refugee children. And I mean, it broke my heart. And honestly, I was like, that was enough to get me vocal. It was enough for me to care. You know, when you put a human face to it, you're like, oh my God. Like, so yeah, I've been trying to be very vocal about things that I care about, things that I feel strongly about, things that I know about, things that affect me and my friends. And so I feel I have a platform to do so, and I want to use it for good.
You know, there's really no important social justice movement that has not been animated by artists, right? I mean, can you imagine the 60s without Marvin Gaye, without the civil rights singers, you know, all of that has always been right there along the way.
Yes.
And of course, you're representing right now. What's that you got?
I am. This is a cute little rainbow flag.
All right, just so you know.
Yes, yeah, I came out as bisexual October of last year. A lot happened. But yeah, I mean, and it's funny because I also grew up thinking, you know, artists and people in the entertainment industry need to shut their mouths about things affecting the world, which is interesting because I think it's artists that get people who might not care otherwise to care.
That's true.
And I also think, what is art if it's not like a reflection of our time and of the people living in it?
So true. You know, like, look, so you saying publicly that you came out as bisexual. There are kids all over this country who are scared to death about what people are going to think of them.
Yeah.
They're living in fear, and you know that. I mean, what gave you the strength?
Well, that was me. That was me up until about a year and a half ago. I was able to come out to myself a year and a half ago. And I realized, especially being bisexual, I realized there's such an issue with bi erasure in our society, in our communities, and even in the LGBT community. There's such a binary, like you grow up watching on television, oh, there's a lesbian woman or a gay man, and that's kind of all you know, or a straight person. And I just thought I was crazy. I thought that there was something wrong with me because of what was going on, and so
because you didn't want to make a hard choice, all that.
Yeah, well, because that wasn't true of me. I'm like, well, I mean, I like men, but I also think I like women, and I'm terrified because I grew up in a very Christian community, and so that's scary on its own. And when you don't have someone who looks like you and who is like you portrayed in the media and in our everyday lives, like, it's hard to feel like you're not the only one.
Sure.
And so I felt I mostly wanted to come out partly because I wanted to live my full truth in my art and my public persona, but also I just felt this nagging responsibility to kind of be there for the younger Alex who is growing up, who doesn't see themselves portrayed anywhere. And I just realized how important it was for me to find someone. I watched a speech by Evan Rachel Wood at the Human Rights Campaign, and that she's bisexual, and she gave a speech that made me feel so seen and so normal, and I just realized the power of that, and if that could help me, then hopefully my normalness can help other people too.
Sure. What do you say to your artist friends who are thinking, oh, you know, politics, man, it's too much confusion, I'm just going to write my song? What do you say to them in the face of DACA, in the face of LGBT oppression, in the face of all these things that people are having to deal with every day?
Yeah.
What do you say to your artist friends who are not sure whether they need to plunge into that political space?
I mean, it's hard because it's like, I don't like to think it, politics is such a difficult word for me. I think it's it's polarizing. you think, oh, politics, like everyone just hates each other, and I don't want to get involved in that because I don't want to pick a side, and I just think, I mean, if I'm going to be frank, like I think that comes with a lot of privilege, not having to necessarily pick a side.
Okay.
Or just,
But see, what about just telling the truth, right? What if
just
tell the truth, and the chips fall where they fall, right?
Yeah, well, I just think, I don't know. For me, like I don't write about politics per se. I write about my experience, and I write about other people's experience, and I write about what I feel people need, and it comes from a much more like human, emotional place, and I think it does about policy or about my views on economics or healthcare or things like that. I'm just like, if I see people hurting, then I want to write about it because that's the experience of that's my experience too.
And in a world where they don't want to accept you for who you are, declaring who you are is political.
It is. To just exist as a bisexual person of color, yeah, it's a form of resistance, honestly.
There you go. Well, Alex G, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. You got it. Hey, everybody, check out Alex G on YouTube, on Spotify. She's one of the top artists. She is awesome. And she has a great new tune. What was the name of that tune?
Okay, my EPs just came out in the Still and Homespun, but you can also listen to Too Far, which is one of my favorites.
Too Far. All right, you guys check it out. Let's hear it for Alex G, everybody. And now we're going to have a video by our own Democratic National Committee team, and here it goes.
Are the politics of Oklahoma changing?
Voters are turning a predominantly red district blue.
Well, it's getting national attention, certainly, but Democrats say they are feeling more confident than ever.
Usually in red states, you see like a little blue dot here and there. Not in Oklahoma.
In 4 of the last 5 special elections, Oklahomans have sent a Democrat to the state legislature to fill a seat that was held for years by a Republican.
Oklahoma is the victim of a long reign of conservative politics.
We've had the same philosophy in total control of our government, and most Oklahomans are at a point where it's just not acceptable anymore. They spent decades hearing only from the Republican Party about how things were, why schools were closing, why hospitals were closing. So what we're trying to do is offer them the other side of the story.
I'm a retired educator. I retired 5 years before I got into politics. I got tired of being mad, is what I've told people. The district is 2-1 Republican. If I had anything to say about it, things were going to change.
When we have campaigns that are well organized, well run, well funded, we've proven that we do outwork our opponents.
I was phone banking for Jacob Rosecrans. I called this elderly man and he was like, I don't know, I've been voting Republican for a long time, but you're the first person in years that has called me and tried to get my vote, and so I will vote for Jacob on Tuesday.
This is a Republican majority state, and I think they've gotten tired of it. I live the life of a struggling teacher. As long as you'll organize, have that game plan, you can have a chance to win.
We have a pretty enthusiastic volunteer base around here. I really am really proud of what just ordinary people are doing. I've actually spearheaded a couple of voter registration drives, which I'm really proud of. Show up, make your voice heard. If this introvert can do it, you can too.
So looking at the people who were elected last year, you know, a couple of them are educators. It takes that kind of diversity to be successful.
We've had conversations with the voters about the things that are happening in their neighborhoods, about their local school that is now going to 4 days a week.
So I'm the youngest sitting senator. I've gone from homeless to senator in 3 years. When we elect people who actually represent the district, it's a lot easier for a legislator to do their job. Every vote counts.
All of us have been in places where we shouldn't have won, but we did because we got out and we worked hard.
We're raising the money and fielding the candidates. There is so much work to be done here, but we're doing it and we're having success now.
Oklahoma isn't just some irrelevant little state. We're making national headlines and we are winning.
I believe in what the DNC is doing. We can win anywhere, and we're seeing it not just here but across the country, and we're seeing it because of organizing. Democratic values are Oklahoman values, they're U.S. values, and when we actually talk about them in face-to-face conversations, we're successful.
Hey. Hey everybody, yeah, Keith back here. Let me tell you, Keith Ellison, I'm the Deputy Chair of the National Democratic Committee, and that video you just saw was a production of our team led by Kat Skiles and Kayla Jeffers. They put that effort together, that video, and they're doing this kind of stuff all the time. They are talking to Americans, taking film, and then bringing it to you so you can see what's really going on. I want you to know the Democratic Party, we are on the march. We're winning in Oklahoma. We're winning all over this country. And with me now is my man, Ryan Doyle. Fist bump, Ryan.
Thank you.
And we're like both Minnesotans, so we got to brag on that. And but Ryan, you have been part of this effort to really reconnect the Democratic Party with American people all over the country, and you've been leading an effort called Winning with Partners. You and I have been working on this thing together. Tell folks what it's kind of all about.
Yeah, so the idea of Winning with Partners is all about building up the connective tissue between the Democratic Party and all the other people out there doing grassroots organizing and activism, who care about healthcare, who care about protecting the environment, who care about civil rights. Some of them want to work directly within the Democratic Party. Some of them want to work with groups like Indivisible, Flippable, labor unions. Winning with Partners is about us getting out, traveling the country, meeting with them, talking with them, taking action with them, right? So we can work together to win elections and then move the issues that we want to see happen.
Well, you know, everybody should know the Democratic Party is not just for Democrats. It's for the American people. And the American people are trying to fight for their rights and be included in that idea of we the people. They're trying to get fair pay. They're trying to, like the West Virginia teachers out there fighting. And, you know, you and I, we were on a picket line in Missouri with some home health care workers, were we not?
Yep.
Was it, so let me ask you, why do we do stuff like that? And, you know, I guess we could just talk to the Democrats, stay in the Democratic county office and just talk to those guys. But we branch out. What do you think the effect is of that being with people in their moments of struggle actually mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of people who work in Democratic Party politics, we know that elections are one tool to get the change that we want to see.
Right.
But really, the people that are going to either vote for us or work with us, they actually care about getting stuff done around healthcare, around the environment, around wages. So when we were in Missouri, it's all about showing up all the time, 365 days a year, being there shoulder to shoulder with people to fight for increasing the minimum wage, making sure they have the right to, bargain in a labor union, and, being real partners with them on advocacy as well. And that's what it's all about.
Well, see, for us political types, and let me tell you, if you're watching this show, you're probably a political type. You're probably into this stuff, right? But for folks who say they're not into politics, they don't care about the election as much as we obsess on it all the time. We need to look at the world through the eyes of the folks who, who think about the time between the elections. Will you have some rights? Like Alex G was talking about, equality for LGBT community. Will folks be able to marry? Will they get the health care they need? Will they get bullied? And folks don't necessarily connect that kind of stuff with an election. But we need to make that connection, and they can't do it unless we get out there and talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I ever did for political action was knocking doors on LGBT rights about 10 years ago.
Right.
Far before I ever really thought of myself as, a Democrat or someone who took electoral action, but I cared about the issues. And then over time, connected those dots to elections. But that's really what gets people motivated is those issues.
But if you didn't connect those dots until you got between the activity and elections, Think about the folks who are busy getting kids to school, getting to the job. You know, that's why we've got to be out there. Now, what have you found? Have you found that folks want to hear from the Democratic Party?
Yeah, I think one thing we found, I mean, you and I have been traveling all over the country,
Sure.
so have some of our other officers, also been working to sit down and meet with people here at the national level. And we found that, you know, people really want to see the Democratic Party showing up more in off years, meeting with them, working with them.
Showing
It's something
up.
that we haven't always done enough, but we know we're working to do better. And we're seeing that when we do that, you know, people want to partner up. So we just launched this new program, I Will Vote.
Oh yeah, talk
And,
about that.
You know, we have a bunch of partner organizations that are supporting that and that we're working with. This is all about reaching 50 million people about voting in the midterm elections.
50 million, folks.
So, you know, we're working with groups like Latino Victory Fund.
Awesome.
We're working with groups like Flippable, Swing Left, and they all want to see the same thing, which is getting people out to the polls to express their values and elect people who are going to represent them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, and we've been on this I Will Vote thing. To me, the real trick of it all is that as we ask Democrats and other activists to go out among Americans in the VFW halls, in the schools, in the coffee shops, in the hair shops, and nail shops, where people live, and we say, hey, look, would you commit to vote? Sign this card. The real magic of that is the interpersonal engagement. That we want people talking to each other. You know, it so happens that the way we used to campaign, TV ads and mail, you can't ask them questions.
Nope.
You can't tell them the stories of your life. You can't tell them how your kid's getting bullied at school. You can't tell them how your wages are too low and your rent's too high. But you can tell it to a person who comes to you and says, would you commit to vote? It's like a great occasion for a conversation. So that's really what really excites me about it. And I believe very strongly that presence, physical presence in the lives of people is an incredibly powerful thing. You don't have to be able to give a great speech or anything. You just got to be there and talk to people. So let me ask you, what are some of the places we've been with winning with partners?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about two kind of different pieces of the same thing. Where are some of the places we've been? You want to tell the folks?
Yeah, so we just got back this past weekend from Alabama.
Let me see what you got on there,
shirt
man.
on about Selma.
That looks like John Lewis, Martin Luther King, Ralph Abernathy. Yeah.
Yep. So we went down for the 53rd anniversary of Bloody Sunday, the Selma Bridge crossing, which led to the Voting Rights Act in 1965. But we also spent a lot of time sitting down and meeting with people down there in Alabama who made the historic Doug Jones race happen.
Yeah, man. That was awesome. You know what I found? I was so impressed with the energy. I mean, we met with a group of black women that morning who were just fired up. And even the night before when we were at a rally with Mayor Randall Woodfin, who is, in my opinion, a star.
Yeah.
But there's another star we met named Sheila
Tyson.
Who was organizing black women. Alabama is not going to let the win in Doug Jones to be a one and done. I got a feeling that they're ready to move out on all fronts. How did you sense the energy out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. You know, a lot of people could view it as a one and done. You know, Roy Moore was a terrible candidate in person, but the real truth is that people in Alabama are organizing and have been organizing for months, for years. You know, they led the civil rights movement.
They led the civil rights movement.
And it was so impressive to be down there. And we're seeing that actually everywhere around the country. So when we're out in Texas, we're seeing the same energy when we were there for Winning with Partners a couple months ago. Now they just had record turnout in their primaries.
Hey man, you know, they got 105% turnout over the last midterm. And that means they got everybody they got before plus an extra 5%. If we keep doing this, we will win, because I have a theory about the Republicans. It is very difficult for them to go to the doors. Why? Because what are they going to do? Say, oh, you know, we just gave $1.5 trillion to the richest people in America. Isn't that great for you and your family? Maybe not, right? Maybe not. Oh yeah, we you know, our leader of our party just paid $130,000 to hush somebody from talking about his behavior, right? And so this kind of stuff is hard for them to go to the doors with. But if we go to the doors with increased pay, fairness for everybody, the right to form a labor union, the right to have a voice in the job, I mean, that's what people want to hear about. As you talk to folks and meet them one-on-one, talk to the activists and folks out there. Is there any particular message that you feel is sort of continues to resonate?
I mean, I think one thing that we're hearing with everyone is they understand this is a historical moment, and we have one of the biggest threats to our democracy in a very long time with Donald Trump in office, and they are fired up, but they want to see results this fall. So that, I think, is why people are realizing, many people who haven't voted in midterm elections, every year or before, maybe they vote in the presidential and then they sit at home other years. They're fired up, and a lot of them are not only planning to vote, but they're learning how to knock doors for the first time on elections. And so that's one of the things I like about this, both the I Will Vote and Winning with Partners things, is it's a simple way to get people trained up on how to go out and talk to people about voting with a clear message. They can do it through the Democratic Party. They can go out there and do it with a group like Flippable or Swing Left, but we're all moving in that direction to get record numbers of Americans to vote this fall.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, so if folks want to get in touch with the I Will Vote program, how do they do that?
So people should text COMMIT to 43367.
Does that have 2 M's in it?
2 M's.
Okay.
Yep.
1 T.
Yep, 1 T,
okay.
2 M's.
Pretty sure about that.
Exactly.
43367 COMMITT commit.
Yep, or they can just go to iwillvote.com.
iwillvote.com. But we need folks to get in that system so that we can send them information, right? And that they can learn more about what we're doing. Let me ask you, it seems to me like for the Democratic National Committee all by itself to go get 50 million people to commit to vote, that seems like a big bite. Is there something embedded in that effort that is collaborative?
Exactly. I mean, this is a huge moment to partner. So, we're definitely partnering up a lot with the state parties and the ASDC, Association of State Democratic Committees. Yep. So these are, you're kind of in Minnesota. It's the Democratic Farmer Labor Party,
DFL, baby.
Yep. So state parties, federal candidates who are out there running. Also, we're partnering up with the other committees out there, running DSCC, working to elect people to Senate, take back the Senate.
Yeah, that's the Democratic senators.
So all the Democratic groups, but also, like I said, we have our partners out there like
Our Revolution,
Latino Victory Fund,
Latino Victory,
exact, Collective PAC,
which is a African American oriented group. So we are working with everybody because we need everybody.
Yep.
But if we get 50 million people to commit to vote all over this country, I mean, we cannot. Will we only just win the congressionals?
No, we're going to win up and down. We're going to win state legislatures.
How key is that? How important is that?
I mean, we know that's key, right? We just saw when we were in St. Louis. One of the things that is a clear example of what the Republicans have done. They passed a bill to raise the minimum wage. One of the super popular. This is what the people wanted. They passed it locally in St. Louis through their local government. The Republicans in the state legislature, they banned that and actually prevented them from raising their own minimum wage locally.
Same thing happened in Birmingham, Alabama, didn't it? In Birmingham, they raised the minimum wage to $10.10, and the legislature said, "No, y'all don't need $10.10." I mean, it's really amazing. This idea of going up and down the ballot. Heather, who is such a tremendous worker here at the DNC, she said, make sure we talk about going up and down the ballot. Didn't she say something like that? I thought I could have heard her. Sworn she said that. But let me just tell you, the DNC, we have a new mission. We don't just try to elect a Democratic president. We are elected Democrats up and down the ballot. Ryan Doyle, you are the man.
Thanks,
you are putting in your sky miles, my friend. And we want to go do Winning with Partners with you. If you want to get together, talk at the local level. We want to get together to talk about how we can collaborate and work together. And we need everybody, individuals and groups, to do that thing with I Will Vote. You want to give the number one last time?
Yeah, so commit to 43367. Just text that or go to iwillvote.com. People can commit to vote. They can check up on their registration and get all that taken care of. And then they can share it with every one of their friends on social media. That's how we're going to get there.
We need everybody to do it. So 43367, text that. I mean, text, what is it?
Commit to 43367.
Right. Text commit to 43367. Don't forget the extra N. All right.
All right.
Hey, everybody, this has been another edition of Democrats Live. I'm your Deputy Chair, Keith Ellison. On behalf of Tom Perez and all of us, thank you for being awesome. And we are on the march. We're ready to win. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you next time.
All right. Right.